You're probably throwing one right now, 2-5. Dave, is Aaron Rodgers finally out of excuses?
Well, I mean, yes, but he's Aaron Rodgers, so the answer is probably no. Like,
See what I'm saying?
I'll give Aaron Rodgers the little bit of credit to say, much like Josh Allen, he got up there yesterday and said that he had some crappy throws.
Okay.
Different word, but yeah. But like, look, like we showed the B-roll. Like you saw the guy's body language. Like, did that look like a guy who feels like this is all on him? Even though all three of those were like three of the ugliest interceptions I've seen all season. You throw an interception to a defensive end.
That's never caught an interception.
Never caught an interception in their life.
It has a lot of like gloves and tape on his hand. Like, come on, man.
And then did you get like peak Rodgers to throw shade at the team that just beat him? Like, to lose to that team. They just beat you, my dude.
Oh, he did say that.
They just beat you, and you're sitting here saying like, oh, it hurts to lose to that team. You're the team that lost to that team. So like, nothing about the way that Aaron Rodgers carries himself makes me think that he's out of excuses, but I'm out of excuses. And the thing for me with the Packers is I've been saying this for weeks, and it's only more true now. So they lost Rashawn Gary for the season yesterday. Romeo Doubs is out for the time being, at least.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then Eric Stokes, they don't have a timeline, but it sounds like he's going to be out for a little while as well, the young cornerback. The reinforcements are not coming. Like, they're, unless you can get OBJ, which at that point, so a 30-year-old OBJ who's had 2 ACL surgeries, and why would he want to go to a 3-6 team? So, okay, throw that away. Who is coming to help this team? Nobody. Like, this is what it is. And so, yeah, I mean, the Packers are completely out of excuses.
Roy Taylor, I know you're hot on Aaron Rodgers. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I said the Lions were going to win this game.
You sure did.
Oh,
you hit your face a little
bit. You picked Packers? You picked Packers?
I picked the Packers.
But who did we pick? 1 time. 2 times.
Now, I'm going to jump on the Aaron bandwagon of dumping on the Lions for a second to point out how utterly ridiculous it is that we continue to consider the Packers to be a good team when they lost to a team and could not score, more importantly, against a team that is last in scoring defense, last in total defense, last in third down defense, 31st in rush defense, and 29th in pass defense.
Dang.
And you can't score against this team, and you're throwing 3 interceptions? Shout out to the Lions. I picked them for this reason. Aaron Rodgers is playing bad. He's not playing well right now. We can say this. He's still going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was still a back-to-back MVP.
Still a great.
But right now, he ain't playing great.
Right.
And the Lions took advantage of a great that is struggling with a team that's riddled with injuries, that doesn't have depth, partly because they're paying that great $50 million a year, and the organization refuses to take weapons in the draft.
Yep.
Refuses. Will not do it. Whatever reason,
Repeatedly.
they will not do it.
Nope.
So, yes, there's no more excuses here. This is what you signed up for. This is what you stayed in Green Bay for, knowing that they don't draft weapons. So you can't blame it on the organization, despite that I think it's crazy they do business like that. You know they do business like that. There's no reveals here. The only thing that is shocking to me about what's happening with the Packers is how bad Aaron specifically is playing.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is out of excuses. I just don't want to hear him anymore. He's not out of excuses.
That's a better way to put it.
Like Rashawn Gary leads the team in sacks, he's out.
Okay.
Christian Watson, second-round pick, he got hurt. Romeo Doubs, third-round pick, he got hurt. David Bakhtiari in yesterday's game, he got hurt. So it's not as though Aaron Rodgers does not have excuses. He has them. I'm just done listening to him because he's playing bad. And so for that reason, I'm tired of hearing about your excuses unless you're above reproach. Don't tell me how bad I'm playing if you as well are playing bad.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers threw an interception to a defensive end that has never caught an interception from high school, college, or the National Football League.
Wow.
He does not catch interceptions, and somehow on this day, on Sunday, you gave him one. So, Rodgers, for as many people as are out, you are out as well. You are bad too. So you can't tell me about everybody else that's bad when you're bad. He's not out of excuses. I'm just out on listening to his excuses. 2-5, where do you stand?
You're out, and I'm out also. You know, I'm also happy about why this game happened, right? And I don't want to sound like a hater, because sometimes I call Dave a hater. And America, I like Dave.
Whoa.
Sometimes.
Can we clip that out?
No,
Can we clip that out?
And he hates a lot. But listen, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm so happy this game happened. You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers is such a great quarterback, which he is. He's a great quarterback, right? Great resume. When he talks to the media and he calls out these wide receivers, they're not catching the ball, and they watch the game and they might drop the ball, the fans are like, oh, he's right. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have no help. You know what I mean? His team's bad, right? But I'm happy this game happened because now the world can see. See, I watch tape a lot.
A lot.
All the top teams, all the top quarterbacks, I watched the tape. The tape was telling me since week 1, Aaron Rodgers is not playing well. He's not playing well at all. But now everybody can see that now. When you throw 3 picks, right, on your 5th loss in a row, throw it in the goal line, red zone, you throwing picks, like, come on. So now they can see it. So all the yelling, all the little sad faces on the sideline, all the cussing everybody out. No, brother. It's you. So now I know. You know, now the world knows, and I'm happy this game happened because you can see it.
You know what I also hate?
Oh, wait, I got to control.
Go ahead. Cut me off.
Because A-Rod, he gets me, man. He really does.
Why?
I do
Why
like,
getting on your nerves, big dog?
because he gets passes for everything, right? When the contract happened with Davante Adams, they said, oh, well, he wanted to leave already, right? Even though he asked for a contract. Patrick Mahomes has a big deal, right? A 10-year, well, actually 11-year,
extension,
400, because extension.
Right.
But when he planned that deal out, he said, okay, I want to have a big enough deal, right, spread out enough with the money so I can pay my other players. And after he got his deal, their next guy they paid was Travis Kelce. So he saved enough money to pay his big-time players. Tom Brady for years been doing that. Now Aaron Rodgers. Look, I don't know what they did. Rub me my $50 million a year. That kills me because now when you get all the money that you want, you got players, 2nd round draft picks, 1st round. You don't have no real players. They all young. Instead of having some money to sign Davante Adams or to sign other players. That's why I don't give him a pass, because as a quarterback, you have the most power other than the coaches or ownership. Hey, look, this is what I want. Hey, I'm going to take this amount of money, right? Break it up how you want to break it up. I need a certain amount of money to get some linemen, to get some wide receivers. You can do that. But he didn't want to do that. And he wants to blame the young players that's not playing well. No, I'm blaming you because you're not playing well and you had enough money where they could have structured enough money where you could have got some younger players or some better players and kept Davante Adams.
How much fault do the young players take for Rodgers not playing well? Because it takes receivers to catch the ball.
Come on.
It takes
Come
catching
on.
the right route.
Yeah, so, and then it takes confidence. Like, how can I believe in my quarterback? Well, he don't believe in me because he got a name. So the blame goes to some of the wide receivers, but more of the blame goes to Aaron Rodgers.
I hope this can put an end to the Joey, we talk about this all the time, and put an end to the idea that a truly great quarterback doesn't need any help, because this guy's coming off back-to-back seasons, and not to
But he's not playing great right now.
He's playing poorly, but
Bad.
don't you think part of that has to do with his supporting cast, and not to let him off the hook entirely?
See, that's what they do.
Doing it.
You're doing it. You didn't know you're doing it.
You're doing
he's
it.
so great. You're doing it.
I'm just saying, you need a little bit of help. That's not a groundbreaking analysis. No, Aaron Rodgers isn't playing well, and I put this loss to the Lions squarely on him. But over the totality of the season, there's a lot of moving parts that go into this, whether it's because the offensive line can't hold up. They've been rotating that combination a lot during the season. You don't know what receivers you can count on. You don't know what receivers are going to be in the lineup. All of that stuff goes together. I will say this. I think the thing that makes it hard to wrap your brain around is typically in the Rodgers era, when the Packers have struggled, it's been because he wasn't there. He got hurt. He comes back and they rally to get into the playoffs. It's new to see them look this bad while he is 100% healthy. And it's eye-opening for sure.
Here's my thing, though, Joy and Dave, is we have to go back to Aaron Rodgers skipping OTAs. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, and Andy, I'm talking to you, if Aaron Rodgers did not, in fact, skip OTAs. But I believe he did, because on August 22nd of this year, he dismissed the idea that skipping OTAs had an impact on his connection with his young receivers. I know, by being a young player who was coming into an organization trying to learn things, that's when it's time to develop relationships. Yep. That's when it's time to develop nonverbal cues. That's when it's time to figure out, how is Aaron Rodgers going to read this defensive coverage, and how do I need to run my route versus defensive coverage? I think, Dave, there are a lot of things that don't necessarily meet the eye that you have to give blame on Aaron Rodgers. He turned Greg Jennings, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Davante Adams, none of which were first-round picks, all of which were ballers. He helped them ball, and he ain't helping these cats ball.
That brings a memory. I hadn't thought about this in forever. The year of the lockout, going way back. Remember the lockout?
2011, right?
Yeah.
12. What about that?
People got on Rodgers' case all offseason because the Packers didn't really do anything. They were coming off the Super Bowl. They didn't they didn't meet away from the facility and do all that cool rah-rah stuff. And Rodgers was like, it's going to be fine. And you know what? It was fine. They were freaking awesome. But that was a decade ago. So I'll meet you there and say, that type of stuff matters the older you get, the more you decline personally, maybe the more the talent on your offense declines.
But was the talents that was on that roster
They're older.
already working together?
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, like that's what. No, they were much better set up
They know
back
each
then.
other well.
Absolutely,
Then
yeah.
that's different. But
No,
listen,
for sure.
Rodgers is a me guy, not a we guy.
Yeah.
That's not a reveal to anyone. So if you're at this stage that the Packers are in their organization, which is not a rebuild dish, maybe they're in a rebuild, but we're not quite going to go all that far, then you have to adjust your expectations and the work that you put in. So, again, I did not think that the Packers were going to be good this year. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. But what is the real reveal here? Is it just that we were relying on the talents of Aaron Rodgers? Aaron's talking about retiring. Like, he's talked about retiring. We talked about Tom Brady talked about retiring, and Tom Brady actually retired. He's talked about retiring. Like, he's not all in on football, which is fine, but then don't expect me, to treat you like you're a contender. Right. Like, that's really what I run into with the passes and the issues with the Packers. They do business the same way all the time. And then every year insists that they are a Super Bowl contender. But you don't do the things that Super Bowl contenders do. You just rely on Aaron Rodgers being awesome, and then everything else that you do is different than that. It's different than what the teams that are winning do. So why should we consider you to be a Super Bowl contender? You've underachieved by the standards of your own expectations every single year since Aaron Rodgers was in the Super Bowl.
I think it's because of Aaron Rodgers. I think everybody forgets all of their errors and all of the sins of the roster and just go, we have 12, we have a chance, which is typically true. By the way, like, typically that works.
And they do, so, like, I hear what y'all saying, but let's not forget these guys, when his MVP years, they were #1 seeds. In Lambeau, they're having a home game in the playoffs.
Yeah, if
you're supposed to win that, though.
Right, correct.
You don't need nobody else. I don't need nobody else.
If your standard is be awesome in the regular season, take advantage of a struggling division, which they do, and then make it to the playoffs, then congrats. You're doing wonderful.
I think maybe.
You're a great girl. But if your standard is to win championships, you got to get there, and they don't even get to the championship. Right. So maybe it's on us to have the expectations too high for them.
I think you made a perfect point, Acho. I think is the way this team is constructed, and they've been getting away with it for whatever reason. They've been getting away with it for 3 or 4 years. They're constructed to be good if Aaron Rodgers is perfect, and he's not playing well, and they look like trash. I think it's probably that easy.
Yeah, that is summed up very well. Like, if Rodgers is great, the Packers are good enough to great. If Rodgers is bad, well, you're 3-5, 3-6.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.